The Iron Fang bar throbbed with energy that night, engines growling outside, laughter echoing inside, and the thick smell of gasoline mixing with cheap whiskey. It was the kind of place where only the fearless walked in, and the broken found their escape. Every inch of the bar carried a story: cracked wooden floors, neon lights flickering like dying stars, and the walls covered with posters of long-forgotten motorcycle rallies. At the heart of it sat the infamous biker gang known as the Black Vultures. They were loud, rough, and loyal to no one except their leader, Rex. Rex was a man who didn't need to speak to command attention. A mountain of muscle wrapped in leather, tattoos crawled up his arms like black fire, each one a memory of battles survived. His sharp eyes scanned the room as he nursed his drink, the glow of the cigarette between his fingers illuminating his scarred knuckles. Around him, the gang laughed, played cards, and argued about engines, but Rex's mind was elsewhere, drawn to the quiet figure moving gracefully behind the bar counter. Her name was Mia. She wasn't like the others who came and went in this rough place. She moved with precision, her hands steady as she poured drinks and collected glasses. She smiled politely when someone joked, but that smile never quite reached her eyes. There was something distant about her, a shadow that clung to her even under the harsh neon lights. She wore long sleeves despite the heat, always careful to keep her skin covered. To most, she was just the new waitress trying to earn a living. But to Rex, she was a mystery wrapped in silence. He'd seen her flinch when the jukebox suddenly blared or when a motorcycle revved too close to the bar door. She wasn't afraid of them, not really. Her fear seemed older, heavier, like something she carried from a past she didn't talk about. Still, she did her job, never complained, and somehow made the chaos of the Iron Fang bar feel a little more human. That night, the gang was in rare form. The room buzzed with the kind of drunken energy that made men louder and bolder than usual. A biker named Tank, already halfway through his fourth beer, called out to Mia. "Hey, sweetheart, another round for the kings of the road," he shouted, slamming his mug on the counter. Mia smiled faintly, nodding as she refilled their drinks. But as she leaned forward to place the bottles, Tank's clumsy hand knocked his glass over, spilling beer across her shirt. The cold liquid made her freeze instantly, her entire body going stiff as if struck by lightning. The laughter around her didn't register. Her hand trembled slightly, her breathing shallow. Rex noticed it, the fear in her eyes. He stood up, smirking, trying to brush off the tension. "Relax, it's just beer," he said, stepping closer. In his drunken attempt to help, he grabbed her sleeve to wipe the spill. The sound of tearing fabric cut through the noise of the bar. The laughter stopped. The music faded. Every head turned toward her. What they saw made the whole place go silent, so silent that even the hum of the neon lights seemed deafening. The torn sleeve had revealed something no one expected, something that froze Rex in place before the truth even reached his lips. The torn sleeve fluttered down like a feather, and the air inside the Iron Fang bar grew heavier than smoke. For a second, nobody moved. Mia stood frozen, her eyes wide in shock, her breath trembling. Beneath the ripped fabric, her shoulder was exposed, scarred, burned, and marked by something cruel. Deep, jagged lines etched into her skin told a story of pain no words could describe. But what truly silenced the entire bar wasn't the scars, it was the tattoo beneath them. A black phoenix, its wings engulfed in flames. Surrounded by the curved body of a crimson serpent. The mark wasn't random. Everyone in that room knew exactly what it meant. It was the symbol of the Crimson Serpents, the most ruthless biker gang on the West Coast, sworn enemies of the Black Vultures. The same gang that murdered Rex's brother 2 years ago and left his body on the highway as a warning. The same gang Rex had sworn to destroy piece by piece. Rex's heart pounded. His eyes darkened, his jaw tightening as his mind filled with rage. The bikers around him rose slowly, chairs scraping against the floor, their laughter gone, replaced by tension so thick it could choke. Tank muttered under his breath, "She's one of them." Another voice hissed, "They sent her here. She's a spy." The sound of weapons clicking filled the air, knives flipping open, chains rattling, guns cocked. Mia stumbled back, tears welling in her eyes, shaking her head desperately. "No, please, it's not what you think," she cried out, her voice trembling, her back hitting the counter. But the mark was there, undeniable, burned deep into her skin. Rex's fists clenched so tightly his knuckles turned white. His voice, low and filled with hatred, cut through the silence like a blade. "You think you can walk into my bar with their mark? You have no idea what that symbol means to me." Mia's lips quivered, her breathing uneven. "I didn't choose it," she whispered, almost choking on the words. They did this to me. Her eyes darted from face to face, searching for mercy that wasn't there. I was one of them once, but not by choice. I tried to leave, and when I did, they found me. They tied me down and burned their mark into me, so I'd never forget who I belonged to. The room fell dead silent again. Even the jukebox stopped mid-song as if the machine itself refused to break the moment. The anger in Rex's face flickered, replaced by confusion and disbelief. He wanted to hate her, to blame her for every drop of blood the serpents had spilled. But as he looked at the burns twisting across her shoulder, cruel, raw, and deep, something in him shifted. Those weren't the marks of loyalty, they were the scars of survival. No one spoke. The men who had lived their lives on violence and revenge suddenly found themselves staring at a truth they didn't know how to handle. The mark that should have made them see an enemy now made them see a victim. Rex's hand, which moments ago had been ready to strike, fell slowly to his side. Mia stood trembling, her torn sleeve still in his grip, tears streaking down her cheeks. Outside, thunder rumbled in the distance, and for the first time that night, the Iron Fang bar wasn't filled with laughter or music, only silence heavy with the weight of revelation. The silence inside the Iron Fang bar hung like smoke that wouldn't clear. Every biker stood frozen, caught between anger and disbelief. Mia's tears glistened under the dim neon lights, her body trembling but her eyes steady. She had nothing left to hide. Her voice broke the silence, soft but filled with a quiet kind of courage. They said if I ran again, they'd kill me. But I ran anyway. I've been hiding for months. This was the only place far enough from them, the only place I thought they'd never come. Her voice cracked. I just wanted to live. Rex's gaze softened. For years, rage had ruled him. Every decision, every fight, every sleepless night had been fueled by his brother's death, by that same crimson serpent that now burned across Mia's shoulder. But in that moment, the truth hit him harder than any punch ever had. The woman standing before him wasn't the enemy. She was another victim of the same monsters who'd destroyed his life. The rage drained from his body, replaced by something unfamiliar, empathy. He took a slow step toward her, his boots echoing on the wooden floor. The gang watched silently, waiting for his move. Mia flinched but didn't back away. Her eyes searched his, terrified of what she might see there. Rex stopped just a breath away, his voice low and rough. They branded you, he said, more to himself than her. They thought they owned you. Mia nodded weakly, her lips trembling. But I don't belong to them anymore. For a moment, Rex said nothing. Then he turned around, facing his crew, the same men who'd been ready to draw blood minutes ago. Nobody lays a hand on her, he said, his tone sharp, commanding. She's not the enemy. Tank frowned. But boss, Rex's glare cut him off instantly. I said she's one of us now. The words fell heavy, final. The men exchanged uncertain glances but obeyed. Mia stared at him in disbelief, tears streaming freely now. Why? She whispered. Why would you help me? Rex shrugged slightly, a ghost of a smirk tugging at his lips. Because I know what it's like to lose everything to those bastards. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his leather jacket, the one marked with the Black Vulture's emblem, and draped it gently over her shoulders. You're safe here, he said. The bar slowly came back to life, but the energy had changed. The same bikers who once mocked and shouted now sat in silence, their faces heavy with respect. Mia stood behind the counter again, clutching the jacket around her like armor. For the first time in years, she felt protected, not by walls, but by people who understood pain. As the rain began to fall outside, Rex looked at her one last time and said quietly, what they did to you ends here. The jukebox flickered back on, playing a slow blues tune that filled the heavy air. The Iron Fang bar had seen fights, blood, and chaos, but never something like this. That night, something broke inside those bikers, something cold and bitter that had lived too long. Rex didn't know it then, but tearing that shirt open had done more than expose scars. It had uncovered the truth that froze the whole bar, and, in doing so, began to heal it.